I the antagonist for bringing up issues with my dad in front of extended family? I lost my mom when I was 5, and dad remarried when I was 6. I loved my stepmom pretty quickly. She was really kind and sweet, and she asked me about my mom the first time we met. When she saw I was upset about the whole situation, I felt like mom was being replaced. We got along really well, but even when I loved her, and even when I was glad she was in my life, I never felt as strongly as her being my second mom. When I was 8, my stepmom asked me if I would like to go to a Mother's Day picnic with her. I asked her if we could do this blended family picnic instead. She was clearly disappointed but said sure. My dad asked me why I wouldn't do both, and I told him I didn't feel good about spending Mother's Day at a picnic with my stepmom and not my mom. He told me having 2 moms wasn't a bad thing and I should consider how happy it would make my stepmom. Stepmom and I had a great day at the blended family picnic, which was held a week or 2 after the Mother's Day one. Sometime after that, I was asked by dad to start calling my stepmom Mom to make her feel good. I told him I didn't want to. He told me it would make me feel good too if I called her Mom, and it would make my mom feel good too. I told him it wouldn't, and he walked off annoyed. Over the years, we had many times where I was being asked either directly or indirectly to accept my stepmom as more than my stepmom, but as my second mom. My stepmom was great though, and she never stopped talking of my mom or took away her photos. I love her for that, but it's just not the same kind of love. She would ask about Mother's Day sometimes or offer to do these Mother's Day celebrations my art classes threw for us and our moms, but she didn't push if I said no, which I did. My dad was more pushy, and for a couple of years we were all in therapy because he thought it was an issue. Recently he told me I am old enough now, 16, to accept that my stepmom is just as much my mom as mom is, and that she deserves to be more than stepmom after all this time. He said it kills her that I never acknowledge her as my second mom. It upsets her that I don't want to celebrate her on Mother's Day, and that I'm sad on Mother's Day, instead of enjoying her with my half-siblings. My dad's birthday was Saturday, and we had both his and my stepmom's sides of the family over. My dad brought up to his mother-in-law that wishes we could join her and the rest of the family for their Mother's Day weekend trip, but he didn't want Mopey, me, to depress everyone since I can't make the day a happy one for the woman who's been raising me for a decade. It made me lose my temper a little and I told him he wouldn't understand, but I can't just stop being sad that mom isn't here, and I can't just force myself to feel the same about someone else. I told him if he really loved me like he claims, he would be way more understanding and stop trying to pressure me to claim my stepmom. He was so mad I spoke like that in front of the extended families. Am I the asshole? Good for you for standing up for yourself and not allowing yourself to be guilted into loving someone. It's important to set boundaries and speak your truth, even if it makes others uncomfortable. It's not fair for anyone to try to force you to replace your deceased mother, and you have every right to speak your mind in front of extended family. Stick to your convictions and don't let anyone pressure you into compromising your values. Good for you for standing your ground. Am I the antagonist for telling my sister to forgive her cheating BF? My sister, 27, found out that her boyfriend of 3 years had cheated on her with an old ex about 6 months ago. I fully expected her to break up with him at the time, but after some time they decided to try and make it work after he apologized to her. The problem is that I don't really see her trying to actually make it work, and instead it just feels like she's trying to punish him for cheating. We've been out together on a number of occasions since it went down. At first it was mainly just cold, which I suppose is to be expected, but has been slowly escalating to being overtly dismissive, critical, and even downright mean. I'm not sure where to draw the line on some of these things, but if this were my relationship, I'd consider some of the things she's said outright verbal abuse. A good example was last time we all went out for dinner. He was mentioning that his boss was giving him a hard time at work, and he got passed over for a promotion, after which she chimed in that his boss and coworkers could probably just see how pathetic he was, and that he was stupid for ever thinking that he might have deserved a promotion. He didn't really say anything to that. I think he's trying to get right with her, so seems like he just takes it. This has been more than startling, because it really isn't like her to talk like this about anyone, let alone a partner. I pulled her aside to ask her what's going on, and that whatever they're going through, she really shouldn't be talking like that about a partner in public if she wants it to work. Her response was that she lost respect and trust for him after he cheated, and that she would start being nice to him again after he re-earned that trust. To this I said she may as well just dump him, and probably should, because there's no way they're going to be able to rebuild anything if this is how the relationship is working, and that if she wanted to make it work, she should at least try to forgive him and stop acting like such a BTH. She got really mad at this and accused me of being a shit brother for defending her cheating partner instead of my sister. At this point she left. I don't really care about him that much. I'd have preferred they just break up. I don't actually care if she never forgives him. The thing that worries me is that the way she is going seems like it's a massive toxic mess. And God forbid they ever have kids who witness their parents modeling this sort of stuff. I get nervous that my own kids will see their aunt talk about her partner this way. Anyways, she's talked to our parents and a couple friends about it, and the consensus seems to be that I massively overstepped by getting involved, and that it's cold of me to expect her to have forgiven him so soon after getting cheated on. Was curious what the take was here. TL Doctor, my sister's partner, cheated on her, leading to her being publicly mean to him despite trying to work through things. I told her that she should either dump him. Your sister needed to hear that their relationship dynamic is toxic and problematic. It's understandable that she's hurt, but continuously attacking her boyfriend in public is not acceptable behavior for anyone involved. Hopefully, your intervention will help her realize what she truly wants and needs to move forward. It's clear that she's struggling, and your words may be just what she needs to make a decision for herself. Ignore the naysayers. You did the right thing. I just found out my wife was cheating on me tonight. Advice on how to move forward? I, 25-year-old man, just found out my wife, 21-year-old woman, was cheating on me tonight. I first noticed things around a month ago. It started off with late-night drives when I would fall asleep, which I thought nothing of since she works nights, sleeping on the couch instead of the bed, not wearing her wedding ring anymore, turning off her location, and odd behavior, not wanting to talk to me or seeming to ignore me for the day. Yesterday, she was supposed to go out with some friends for drinks. I noticed she didn't go and seemed upset. I asked her why she didn't go, and she told me that her friend canceled on her. I asked who and she told me not to worry about it. I insisted that she tell me, but I gave up because she refused to tell me. At this point, something started to seem more off. I went to take a shower and we almost always shower together, but she didn't join. I finished, and she immediately goes to get in the shower. When she is done, I again insist that she tells me who she was going with, and eventually she tells me it was a friend from work. She gave me the name of who it was, and I didn't have any idea who he was or that he existed until now. She immediately explains there's nothing sexual or anything of that nature, but to grow their friendship. I thought it was odd that she didn't want to tell me about going out with another guy alone to get drinks, but didn't bring it up any further that night. Today I brought it up again and asked her if she needed to explain anything to me because I started to make assumptions about all the things going on. I explained to her that I would like to ask some questions for clarification and that it would help put these assumptions to rest. I asked her why she needed to hide who she was going with to get drinks if truly they are just friends. She replied that she didn't need to tell me who she was hanging out with or what she was doing. She also knew how I would react and didn't want me to be upset. I noticed this morning she had messages from the guy at 1 in the morning and I asked how often they talk, and she says every day. I asked her what they talk about, and she said nothing. I asked if there was anything inappropriate, she said no. Ew. Making this shorter, I ask all my questions and notice she clearly is not telling the whole truth about what is going on. At this point, I asked to see her phone and she says no. What? I asked why not, and she kept saying no. She said it was her privacy and that I couldn't look in it. I ask again what she has been talking about with her friend, and she now says flirting. I tell her I can deal with that. Let's take a look. Again, it's a no. I keep insisting to see her phone, but she still says no. After 20 minutes of trying to get an explanation to why I can't see the messages on her phone, I tell her this. Why would you throw all this away if you were telling the truth? So either let's see what the messages say or divorce. She said no. I said that's not an answer. She told me if you see what's on there, then you will divorce me. I was heartbroken and confused. She made it clear that she would rather have a divorce than let me see what was on the phone. She said she didn't sleep with him, but she emotionally cheated on me. I don't know what to believe because of not knowing what was so bad on the phone, that she would rather divorce me than let me see the messages. Some friends are saying to work it out while others are saying to leave her. I am torn and hurt because I don't know what to do. I don't want this to happen again or be used later. Any advice would be appreciated. Should I work it out or leave? It sounds like she's not being honest with you and has likely already cheated. At 21 and already cheating, it's clear she's not taking the marriage seriously. It's never easy, but contacting a divorce lawyer and leaving may be the best thing for you in the long run. Don't stay in a relationship with someone who isn't fully committed to you. Am I the antagonist for lying to my boyfriend about our family vacation being canceled to avoid jokes about him? My boyfriend, let's call him Milan, is really proud of his Romani heritage. We've been dating for almost 2 years. I've always had reservations about him bringing it up around my family and close friends, especially considering they can be pretty conservative. I've gently warned Milan before that it might not be the best idea to mention that subject, but he's always been pretty open about his background. At a recent family gathering where my dad asked about Milan's full name, Milan mentioned his Romani roots and talked very proudly about his family heritage, a mix of Chilean and Romani. My family started cracking jokes. My mom tried to defend Milan and call him a handsome gypsy. It was cringeworthy, but Milan graciously accepted my mom's attempt to lighten the mood with a hug and kiss on the cheek. My dad and 2 older brothers were on the meaner side though, throwing lame jokes and barely keeping it together when Milan was talking about the names of his cousins and aunties. You know, saying weird stuff like, "Oh, that sounds like a pain medication," or "That's a lot of points for Scrabble right there," and some borderline xenophobic stuff about being grateful we're not in a third world country. My younger sister gave my dad a nasty side eye, but sort of zoomed out of the conversation. I froze up and just laughed along nervously, hoping it would blow over. To make matters worse, we started discussing a family weekend getaway that's coming up real soon, a tradition to celebrate my mom's birthday. My mom invited Milan right then and there, but my dad couldn't resist making a snide comment about inviting tramps and thieves too. Some lazy joke referencing an old Cher song, I guess. Milan was a good sport and accepted the invitation. A few days later, I straight up lied to Milan, telling him the trip was cancelled. I know it was a white lie, but I just couldn't bear the thought of him enduring all those thoughtless comments from my family. And yeah, I'm skipping out on the trip too. I love Milan. He's perfect in any other aspect, and the last thing I wanted was for him to feel uncomfortable or ridiculed during what was supposed to be a relaxing getaway. I confided in my sister about all this, and she called me out, saying I'm no better than the rest of the family. I mean, it's not like I'm planning to never invite Milan to family events again. It's just until the whole conversation about his heritage dies down. Lying is never the answer, and this isn't a white lie. You should have been honest with him and talked to your family about their insulting comments. You can't expect it to magically die down. Be upfront and let them know you will not be around until they learn to treat your significant other with respect. The people who need to be handled are your family. Your boyfriend deserves better. Am I the antagonist refusing to pay for my friends' kids as they refuse to accommodate my dog? I am a 35-year-old woman with a group of friends I've known since university. We have always been close, and despite all moving to different parts of the country, we make the effort to have weekends away in an Airbnb a few times a year. Of the 6 of us, I'm the only one without kids. I don't mind kids but just not interested in having my own. When we do our weekends, they often bring their kids. We always split the cost of the Airbnb equally, and arrange a supermarket food delivery which is also split 6 ways despite the fact the kids' stuff is half the food bill. I am gluten intolerant so need special foods, but the group asked me not to add those to the order due to expense. They don't seem to get me paying for kids' food I want to eat is the same as them paying for gluten-free food. Also, as the childless one, I get the sofa bed whilst the others get the big bedrooms for them and their kids. It's just assumed that it's okay and I never get consulted. I find it annoying as it's never acknowledged that I get the short straw despite paying the same as them. However, I love spending time with them so I don't say anything to avoid rocking the boat. That was until recently when I got a dog. None of my friends or their kids have an issue with dogs, but they're also not big dog people either. For our next meetup, I asked if anyone would mind if I bought the dog so I wouldn't have the expense of a dog sitter. I made it clear that I would monitor her carefully. My friends said they weren't comfortable with that. I completely get it. However, I said in that case I would need to pay for a sitter kennels, and therefore I think we need to revisit the way we split the costs. If I'm making concessions to accommodate the kids, then I should pay a smaller portion of the Airbnb. Also, I said I would not be paying for the portion of the food bill which is for the children. I'll pay my equal share of the adult food but no more. They have said I'm being unreasonable, and they don't understand how I can claim I'm getting the short straw with the room food. They believe I'm being petty because they said no to the dog. I don't think I am. I'm just asking for them to make concessions for me the way I have for them for many years. They say I'm comparing my dog to their kids. I'm not. I'm pointing out that the money paid versus the resources being used is out of balance. And now I have the dog. I can no longer support this. I don't think I'm being unreasonable but would like to hear what others think. Am I the asshole? Let them get their own Airbnb so you and your pup can have your own nearby. You really should have had a discussion with your friends about all this before something like this could occur. I wouldn't have ever paid for my friends' children to visit me. That's crazy. They believe you're being petty because they said no to the dog, but it was just the straw that broke the camel's back. You're not being unreasonable. People always get angry when you stop letting them take advantage of you. I received an ultimate from my girlfriend of 7 years. Have kids immediately or break up. How do I respond? My girlfriend and I had a rocky relationship. When it's good, which is 98% of the time, it's great. We have so much fun together, laugh a lot, and we even started a business together. When it's bad, it's really bad. We typically have problems one weekend every month. When my girlfriend goes out and drinks, she gets very mean. It's not uncommon for us to get in an argument and for her to walk out of the restaurant or bar and just leave me there. When this happens, she'll ignore my texts, calls, and I won't see her until she decides to come home. Sometimes, very late at night, 4 a.m. She also calls me names and is verbally abusive when she drinks. We always make up the next morning, and I keep most of it to myself. If I bring it up, she usually says I'm the problem and I'm controlling and drive her to do these things. She's given me an ultimatum to have kids or break up. It's been 7 years of dating and 6 years of living together. I've told her that we shouldn't have kids when our relationship is so volatile. She gave me until tomorrow to make a decision. How can I have kids and get married when one weekend a month she's so mean to me? We don't have any trust because she'll walk out on me in an argument, go to a bar, talk to other men, etc. She won't fully acknowledge her actions. I've told her over and over that I need at least 6 months of proving to me that we can have a good relationship without feeling hurt. There's so much resentment that when I bring up the things she says, she places blame on me. About 2 months ago, she had a terrible health scare and had to go into emergency surgery. I spent 7 days and nights with her in the hospital. I didn't leave her side once. I thought the experience was going to solve our problems, but it hasn't. Also, out of the blue 2 weeks ago, she said she's going to sign a lease for an apartment because she doesn't think I'm ready for kids. I asked her not to move out and to give me 2 weeks. The 2 weeks are up. I understand she doesn't want to waste any more time, and I don't want to waste her time. But I'm conflicted and confused. I'm scheduling a call with a relationship therapist for later today, but I haven't told friends or family about this. I'm leaning towards saying something to the effect of, I love you and don't want this to end, but I can't start having kids and get married when we have these problems. I think the problems should be fixed first. If you can't wait for that, I guess we have to break up. It sounds like it's definitely time to pull the plug and break up with her. It's clear that this relationship is not stable enough to bring children into the mix. If you don't see a future with her, then it's best to end things now before things get even more complicated. It's time to face the reality that this relationship has reached its expiration date and focus on the logistics of untangling your lives and moving on. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.